without a member journey or knowing what your member journey is going to be, it's really hard to scale up the club.
This year at PerformX, the Gym Owners Forum took their community on the road, and we actually hosted our very own networking community event right in the heart of the show. Now, the conversations that we were having on the day were with doctors, gym owners, industry experts, and suppliers, all with the ultimate goal of educating, supporting, and uplifting the industry. Now, over the weeks following PerformX, what we'll do so that you guys don't miss out is be sharing those conversations that we had with those people on the stage. So without further ado, let's jump right into it.
Grant Harrison, welcome to PerformX. Welcome to the Gym Owners Forum stage at PerformX. Thank you so much for being here. Obviously, Ashbourne, I think we're both very familiar with them. So to add context initially, I'm going to go off script, which I know you don't like, but tell us about Ashbourne. Just give us a brief overview, what they do, how they help gyms.
Hi everyone. So I'm Grant from Ashbourne. Been with the company about, nearly 20 years now. So initially when I started, I used to own my own health club. Ashbourne did my direct debit collections, and that was about it at the time. But over the years, Ashbourne have developed software systems. So everything from online joining, prospecting, automations, class bookings, app, literally the whole thing that a club needs, basically to run their gym. So when I had my gym, I sold that, joined Ashbourne, and been here ever since. I've now been, obviously, as well as Ashbourne, I'm also co-owner of the Fit Club in Redditch. So it's about a 20,000 square foot facility. We've got about 2,000 members and growing every month as well. And obviously what we do is we use that gym as an Ashbourne test site. So we put in the latest bits of software, test it out in a real situation. And then if the software is good or needs updated, then we update it. If not, then we just roll it out to all of the Ashbourne customers. So we get a real insight from an actual gym, so we can really help our customers.
I think, obviously, you can tell by the number of cue cards I have, we're probably quite well versed in our subject. So let's start off. Today we're talking about member journeys and kind of the ins and outs of those. I think, to be honest, I've put member stuff on here as well, but it'd be best to talk from a gym owner perspective, I think, actually. Why are things like member journeys and automating those processes, the onboarding, et cetera, why is that so important for a gym owner to have those set correctly?
So without a member journey or knowing what your member journey is going to be, it's really hard to scale up the club. You know, everything becomes a manual process and everything like that. Now, a lot of gym owners, they would think that the member journey is literally from the moment they sign up until while they're a member.
Yeah.
But actually the whole process starts before they even become a member. So how do you raise the awareness of the club? So obviously they're capturing the information. So everything from the awareness, then to the onboarding, the processes of all the different areas of the gym that they're going to be. And then most members will leave at some point, will leave a gym. So what do you do at the end of that? You know, it's not just while they're a member, it's how, when they finish becoming a member, how can you re-engage them to get them back to the start? So it's a whole loop of a member journey. But as I say, the reason it's important is because if you can understand where these members are having their friction points, their pain points, you can address it to hopefully keep a member for longer, retain them, and earn more money.
Treat me like an idiot, which I probably won't be hard.
The audience are going, oh, yeah.
What is a member journey in the sense of, is it what, like in terms of what's the actual content of that, like emails, phone calls, kind of, can you build a member journey for us in a sense and take us through one of those?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got yes, in the Fit Club, for instance, we have one member journey, but it's broken down into different stages. So we have the initial part is the awareness and the nurturing of potential members and prospects. So what information are you going to get across to the public about your gym and things like that? Then in that journey, how are you going to communicate and nurture those people? So what we do is we have a series of email automations, text messages, calls from the club. So we have a data capture form. If we do a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad or something like that, we send them to a landing page, capture their data, and then we have a system that will automate it. Yes, you can do it all manually. You know, absolutely. Some clubs will sit there and go, right, Mary has suggested an interest. Tomorrow I need to send her an email. But that's time consuming. So what we do is we use the Ashbourne system to automate that process. So as soon as they put an inquiry through, the system will send them an email. Thanks for your inquiry. Here's some information about the club. Follows up with a text message. Follows up with a task for our member of staff a couple of days later to send a call. So that's the nurturing phase. Then we have the onboarding. So from there, we're sending people to an online sign-up page, which they can sign up either in the club or via the website. The member would sign up, and then another automation would then kick in. So we have the new member onboarding journey. So a welcome to the club email. A few days later, we have a how to download the app, how to book a class. We then, within the system, get them to book in for their first gym welcome session, where we make sure they've got their digital wallet pass. We make sure we've got their photo on the screen. Do they know where the toilets are? So that's the onboarding process. Once they're onboarded,
Just on the onboarding process, I feel like there is an element of human touch that needs to come in within that. What's the kind of split there as compared to the induction nurturing process?
Yeah. So once they've joined up, obviously we just send them the information via email. Then what we do is we get them to book in for their gym welcome session. So as I say, then they physically come in, meet one of the team who will show them the different areas of the club, make sure they've got everything set up, the wallet pass, they know how to book a class. Then obviously they do their induction, use the gym. A few weeks later, we then create a task within the Ashbourne system that notifies a member of the team that Mary here has been a member for 4 weeks. Let's get back in touch with her. We book her back in for another session, and it just keeps that contact with the member. Without, though, a system, they're going to forget.
Yeah.
They're going to completely forget, and that member will get left. And then they get left for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, they drop out. So we're just automating the system to make my staff's life easier.
There's an element of it's like time, I guess. As a business owner, you're like, time is probably the most valuable asset you have, and automating it is so important just purely from like that aspect of it. What would you say? You probably can't put an exact figure on it. Is there like a rough figure of how much time you're freed up to do, or what are the tasks that you then go on to do because you have saved that time?
Yeah, so everything that I'm saying now can be done manually by the club.
Yeah.
But especially for independent clubs, obviously costs are an issue. So what I want to do is I want to maximise my staff's time in the gym. So rather than looking through data going, who do I need to contact? I want them to be able to deliver the experience in the gym, deliver the classes, deliver the that member experience. So if I can automate a system where member will get an email 2 weeks after joining and that just goes, well, you know, it means my staff can be, so let's say 20,000 square foot gym, we pretty much can run the club off 1, maybe 2 members of staff at busy times, because in the background, all of the admin is taken care of.
No, perfect. And then, so in the member journey, there's obviously the offloading, or what's the term? I'll let you tell me the word.
When a member leaves, and they
Yeah. What take us through that process of just that final step?
Yeah, well, it actually, if we take a step back, because if you can understand your whole member journey, what you can work out then is when a member leaves, you can find out where in that member journey is the pain point and where's the problem. So what I get my manager to do is, when they run a report on who's left this month, I also get them to work out how many months that member has stayed for. Now, if the average membership for the people that have left is 2 or 3 months, we know there's a problem at the onboarding phase. If there's a problem, if most of my members leave on average after 15 months, we know there's not a problem with the onboarding, but the problem is retaining the members at the back end. So So understanding that data and using the member journey will then help retain the members. But in terms of the offboarding, exiting, whatever we say, we like to do an ex-member survey. So as soon as they leave, we say, look, not a problem. We know there's plenty of choice. People get bored or whatever. We're here ready for when you want to come back. Would you mind telling us why you left? And then from that data, we can use it to say, actually, we need to improve on this, this, and this. Then what we would do is just keep them updated with regular communications, emails, text messages about latest news in the gym and why they should come back. So after the exiting automation, they will then essentially go into our long-term nurture bucket.
Yeah.
We'll just fire out regular emails to those to try to get them back into the prospecting end again. So they go back into the top of the loop, they'll get the prospected emails, hopefully become a member, and the system goes on, and it's repeatable and scalable.
I think realistically, sometimes people have the fear also that like once a member's left, they don't want to hound them. They're like they've left, but actually, when you look at it from a real standpoint, like the worst thing they're going to do is unsubscribe from those emails and those letters that you've been sending them. They're not going to do anything more than that, and you're well with it, and also like it takes so many touch points of someone to remind them, actually, you know what, I do want to get back into the gym, and by remaining in the forefront of their mind, by following up, that's how you get them back in, essentially. So no, it's I'd arguably say obviously the retention automations are probably the most important, but actually that what do we call it, the exit survey automation, I guess, that's probably the second most important one, because it's the new members. It's easier to get someone that's already been in the gym back in the gym because they know the offering you have, as long as you're giving a good offering and you haven't pissed them off.
Well, you want to tell people of, actually, these are so they've been a member, they've left, they've told you the reason why, and it might just be because they've run out of time or whatever it is. Obviously, we all know that time isn't really an issue. You can make time, but if they leave, you might go and get an upgrade to this. So we're always upgrading. It might be a new piece of kit, or it might be a new facility, or an update to the app where we're giving home content and things like that. So you want to give them value of not just rejoin. It's reasons to stay engaged with us. So actually, you might give them some content to do at home. Keep them updated. Give them a free pass. Come back in 6 months' time and bring a friend, or try out our latest class. As soon as they do that, though, they go back into the nurture loop, and then they start again. So it's a whole system that tries to keep members and get them back in.
I know that free passes can sometimes be a bit of a topic of contention. Some people really don't like giving them. Where do you kind of lie in that? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, if somebody comes to our counter and says, I'm thinking of joining, can I have a free session? Most of the time, they're just trying to blag a free session. So what we do is we will say, look, not a problem. Our day pass is £10. Use the facility. At the end of that session, if you join, I'll knock that tenner off. And that's pretty fair, you know.
It's girl math.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't give someone. I think if you give it to them for free, there's no value in it. They've not owned it.
Yeah.
But if you might do a taster session for a new class to re-engage people. But the key is for that day pass. So a quick win for a gym. I see a lot of gyms that do a lot of day passes, and then the members will pay their day pass and give their tenner over the counter, never heard of again. So what we do as another automation, is that we capture their data. First thing that they do, if they come in for a day pass, we get their name, email, and mobile number. At the end of their session, the system then automatically sends that prospect or that day pass member an email and a text message that says, we hope you enjoyed your day pass. Click here to join now. If they don't join, the system automatically waits for a period of time and then sends them another message. We've noticed you're still not joined. Here's a discount code for £5 off your first month. If they still don't join, another, and so on and so on. We then create a task for our member of staff to say, Mary, you came in for a day pass 2 days ago. We've noticed you've not joined. What can we do? But we're trying to get those day passes to convert into a membership, and that is a quick win that somebody could just do tomorrow.
And it's not even necessarily about converting the person, because that data itself is so valuable, because as we say, it's that long-term nurture. Are there any other ways in which you're trying to collect that long-term that data in terms of like lead forms, I guess Facebook ads, all that kind of stuff? I assume you're just running every single kind of marketing campaign.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I gave a club a little while ago a book. I think we got it on our website. 100 ways to get more members, and he did it, and he went, "Yeah, I got 10 members." I went, "Oh, you got 10 members?" He said, "Yeah, I did one of the things." I was like, "Well, don't do one of the things. Do all of the things."
Yeah.
And if you get 2 members from each, that's 200 members. But then do it again next month and next month and next month. So however you're doing the marketing, get the info, get the data, run the marketing. If it works, great. If it doesn't, the lead then must go into the long-term. They're always there. So as soon as someone makes contact with the club, they are somewhere in your member journey. They're either a prospect, a member, or an ex-member, or in the bucket. And then you can just close the loop and keep them working.
You just keep on hounding. No, I totally agree.
Not hounding, adding value.
Adding value, yes, of course. I think you touched briefly on the analyzing the pain points, analyzing where people fall in the process. What is the data you look at specifically to see where people are kind of maybe falling through cracks, or what are the main kind of data points that you use?
Yeah, so obviously the first one that we pretty much look at is when the members leave. As I say, how many months on average they have stayed for. Now, as I said, if it's 1 or 2 months, there's obviously a problem with the onboarding. If the leads and the prospects are nurturing, but we're not converting, there's a problem with the conversion button or something like that on the link, or there's no incentive for them to join. So it's looking at the end of this automation, what's happening? What percentage of the leads are moving to the next stage? This one, how many are moving to the next one? And so on and so on. So it's drilling down into each stage and working out where the numbers drop off.
Because you're a gym owner that's obviously got a manager in the gym. How kind of hands-on are you with that data analysis? Is that something you kind of leave to the manager to do, and they kind of give you a report, or are you looking at
Yes, that's the manager's job. Yeah, absolutely. I tell the manager what information I want to see. So I'm not going to sit there and get it, but he then would go to his class instructor manager and get the data from them. He would then go to his sales manager. He then collates all the data, which actually he can do very easily off the Ashbourne dashboard anyway.
Yeah.
So he collects all the data and gives it to me, and then we analyze each stage. And basically, each month we go, how can we make that stage better? How can we make it? It's a constant thing that we're always changing.
I don't want to put gas in your head, but essentially you are a CEO, and it's your role to be working on the business. Yeah, don't you like that too much. Essentially, it's your role to be working on the business rather than in the business. And I think that, well, it shows because of where the Fit Club's come from, where it was when he took over to today. So, yeah, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, as I say, Mr. CEO.
We'll say I think the key to that is use the staff effectively. So if you can automate as much of the admin as possible, that allows them to focus on what they're good at. And it might be delivering classes, giving the inductions, that member experience. So take as much off them with technology as you can, so that they can give the full experience to the member.
And you mentioned earlier about trying as many things as you can and phasing things in and phasing things out. You proofs in the pudding in the gym, obviously, with the recovery suite and the reformer studio and all that good stuff. And in terms of the tech also, what's kind of next? What are you looking at kind of implementing? What do you think is going to be effective in working in the gym?
So in the gym we have obviously we were one of the first in the town to put in reformer Pilates. So we got however many beds in our new studio. Since we've started, about 5 other reformer studios have opened in the same town. So we're thinking, okay, we need to do something different again. So now we're looking at a digital online reformer Pilates studio. So we've got iPads on their stands at the end of each bed. And what we've added in a magnetic lock onto the door. And if you have that bolted onto your membership, you can use the room at any time and go and practice your reformer Pilates on the iPad. Yes, we're still doing the live classes, but we're using the technology to segment the membership to say, if you're in this membership category, you can go in here. If you're in this one, you can get access to this. So we're using the data to try and maximize our areas of the club.
And then in terms of well, yeah, shameless plug, but in terms of Ashbourne and the tech, what's coming in new on that front that you think is going to be like a kind of big thing that you've not seen before?
Well, we're looking at helping with the automations with a bit of AI as well.
Yeah.
So actually, can we capture information from a prospect on the website that's interested at 3 o'clock in the morning? So rather than just getting an email, can they get like a live chatbot, for instance, that will book them in for their induction? So that's what we're working on at the moment, to try and improve the technology to make the gym owner's life easier and to give the member a better experience.
I know it's an example, but if someone's looking at Reform Pilates at 3 a.m., there's some concerns that I have. Yeah, perfect. I think that there is loads of stuff, obviously. Is there anything extra sort of additionally at Ashbourne that you guys are doing? That we are doing, I guess I can probably say.
Yeah. So we've just obviously put in the digital wallet passes. So that's really sped up the onboarding process as well, because as well as they get in their new member welcome message, they've also getting their digital wallet pass. So, and especially we've got a lot of 24-hour clubs as well. So they might be unmanned. So people can go on, sign up, they'll automatically get their digital wallet pass. It's better than a QR code because it can't be shared, it can't be screenshotted or anything like that. It's linked to their Apple Wallet or Google Wallet. And then it will give them access without having to come to reception or whatnot. So if you've got a 24-hour unmanned facility, this can completely automate your club.
Perfect. I think final thing really would be key takeaways, kind of recapping everything we've spoken about. What would be the things for gym owners to take away and kind of start implementing today?
So our whole member journey has taken time to get there. We haven't just gone, right, it's done. So what I would suggest is that a club just starts. So if you're not doing a new member welcome sequence, start with that. Once you've got that, then you could add in some prospecting. Once you've got the prospecting, then you could add in your offboarding. Then you could add in a day pass, but just start. You know, you're never going to have the perfect thing and you're always going to change it. But if you don't start, you won't have anything.
Rome wasn't built in a day. Perfect. Grant, thank you so much.
Pleasure. Nice
Thank you.
That is all for this episode of the PerformX edition of the Gym Owners Forum podcast. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I thoroughly enjoyed all of the conversations that I had from the 2 days of the show. Would highly recommend anyone to check out PerformX next year and just other industry events in the UK. If you enjoyed the episode and you want more like it, head to YouTube or anywhere you can get podcasts and look for the Gym Owners Forum podcast. If you want some more quick fire and actionable tips, head to our socials where we're posting regularly about insights and just general tools and things we find from the industry right there directly to you. And if you just want to get in touch, reach out to us, DM us, email us, go to our website, reach out, and we're always happy to have a chat and a conversation on how we can help. With that said, see you on the next episode.